Mitch, happy to have you join us in the studio today.
Good to be with you. Wish under other circumstances, but when you spend 32 years in the National Football League, I'm giving some formal presentations this week, and I figured up I've been in the league 11,650 days. 3 of those have won Super Bowls. 3 other days got a ring ceremony. 3 other days, a parade. That's 9 days. Most of the time in the NFL, most of the time, a good deal of the time, you're in situations like this because it's a league where it's just that's part of the intrigue of the league is you fight through it.
So we have to start with the fourth down and decision. Take me through what you're thinking. How are you feeling when you realize that the Chiefs, from 4th and 1 from their own 31-yard line, they are not going to punt the ball, and the Chiefs are going to attempt to go for it there in that spot? What are you thinking? What's going through your mind?
Okay, there's 3 different groups of people that today at 4:03 are looking at this. One group is Schadenfreude. These are the folks that delight in your misfortune, right? They're kind of loving this. 2 is someone who is hurt by it, but you stay wallowed in pity, kind of. 3, you analyze it, figure out why it happened, and where do you go from here? Tonight on the show, we talk about it a lot, and I'm just going to give you an excerpt of the show. Some of these came from Coach's presser today, but I think it says a lot. Now, I'm going to give you a precursor to this comment in the fact that I think that the move came from there was such confidence in the Chiefs in 4th down this year. We're seeing something we've never seen, I don't think, in 66 years of Chiefs football or Dallas Texan football. The Chiefs are 3rd in the league in 29 attempts. They are the 1st in the league with 22 4th down makes. 22, which is incredible. They're 2nd to New England in making the 4th down 75.9% of the time. New England is 1st, but they've had 11 fewer attempts, and they've had 8 fewer makes. And then on 4th down and less than 4, the Chiefs are near the top of the league and 4th, I believe. But 6 of them have been 4th and 4, 4th and 3, 4th and 2. Okay. Now you've got this situation. But I want us to listen to Coach Reid, and then I'll bounce off of that and what he had to say about it, because he's owning it. He's wearing it. But my answer to you is a long one. But it starts with there's such a degree of confidence right now in the Chiefs making 4th downs.
So I need to make sure that I give the guys an opportunity on those 4th downs to make plays, take full responsibility for that. Thought we could muster something up there, and I knew points were important. So, but that's my responsibility to make sure those work. We've been so good in that area, whether it was run or pass, and so I felt we were in a good position. I thought we had a good play. Again, I thought it was the right thing to do. Then this is terrible to say in a situation like this because we didn't win and we didn't get that, but I would probably do that same thing again. But I also know when you don't get them, it can be a problem, and especially when they're in that field goal range area. Very aware of that. But again, I thought the risk reward was right for that time. It slapped me in the face, though, so it didn't go that way.
I think that you look at it and the fact that he was so confident in that call. They ran something very similar in the Cowboy game and made it to Jared Wiley. Does that say I'm going to agree with the call at that point? Is everybody in agreement with it? Probably not. But he said what he said, and he would run it again. But the fact that he's made 22 of them this year gives you a little bit of equity. Now, at their own 31, 10:22 left in the game, the Chiefs' defense has held them 5 straight possessions. I think that's all the stuff he's looking at. But he's not going to sit there and wallow in the mud on it. He's got to move on, and he's owned it. He's wearing it. But I also have 3 Super Bowl rings because of him, and I trust him.
We haven't really talked as much about the play call. I just think that's just kind of one of those things that people are just always going to nitpick. I think people are frustrated that Kareem Hunt wasn't on the field. Like when you give that stat about the fourth down conversions that the Chiefs have, we have to acknowledge a big reason why they've been so good on fourth down is because of how good Kareem Hunt is.
Yep.
And that was not the play call, and he's not even on the field at that point. It's interesting to hear him talk about the risk versus reward because I see there is so much more risk than reward there. Even if the Chiefs get 2-3 yards there, they're on the 33-yard line on their own side. You still got to go another 30 yards to even get yourself into scoring and field goal range in that scenario. And you just mentioned the defense. I mean, Houston had done nothing defensively so far in the second half of the game. They had ran 18 plays and gotten 17 yards. That's where I want to see them continue to play the field position with Matt Araiza, continue to trust the defense, and try to grind out a 13-10 victory. But that's not how the game played out.
No, and people were critical of him in the Dallas game for not going for it at fourth and I believe 4 near midfield, or barely, I think, maybe on Dallas's half of the field. But that's where I think the analysis, that's one of the 3 categories here, the analysis, figuring out what went wrong, and then who's all involved in that discussion. There's a lot of people involved in that discussion, including Mike Frazier, who leads the way in analytics. But it will also be all of the offensive staff that will be discussing it moving forward. And that's why you can't just stay stuck in it. And one of the great things about Andy Reid as a coach and as a leader is that he doesn't say stuck or in the milestone moments. He doesn't say stuck there. And he doesn't say stuck when you get to the flashpoints because you can't. You can't afford it right now. You got to figure out a way to beat the Chargers and win out and then hope you get some help. So it's analysis, but it's also moving on.
I felt like in that moment, the Chiefs panicked a little bit in some ways. Like I see Andy as one of the most solid, consistent, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. This is what we do. This is our strategy. It felt very out of character, in my opinion, to do that. That's something I would expect from Dan Campbell that kind of has the personality of being a gambler. Ron Rivera, Brandon Staley. It was just such an anti-Chiefs move in the most important game that you've had so far this season.
Which is why, though, I gave you the numbers, because the numbers have been so drastically different this year in both fourth down attempts and makes. So it is a change in strategy in many ways that has been there all throughout the season. Now, the fact that he did it then in that situation, again, opens up a lot of discussion. I don't argue with that at all. But the fact that there is just this high degree of confidence, I don't care whether it's in business or if it's in the military or in sports, when you get that level of confidence, sometimes it can lead you to a decision you wouldn't make otherwise. But that's what I think the adjustment and moving on is about.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch, you mentioned it. I asked you a couple of weeks ago, hey, what's wrong? What's their biggest problem? And you mentioned just inability to get off the field on third down. That once again kind of reared its ugly head. I don't put this loss on the defense. I thought the defense played exceptionally well in the second half of this game. But just always, it's that 3rd and 7. It's that 3rd and 15. It's just you got to get off the field in this scenario. And too many times in this game when the Chiefs defense really needed to step up, really needed to make a play, really needed to force a turnover, they just didn't get it yesterday.
3rd down and 6 or more. The Chiefs are 30th in the league out of 32. And overall 3rd down defense, I think there's only 3 or 4 worse. Now the game tonight, that's without the game tonight, but looking at it. But there have been 73 attempts against the Chiefs on 3rd down and 6 or more and 22 conversions. And 20 of those are off passes. So you just can't ignore it. It's the same discussion maybe as the 4th and 1, but it keeps happening every week. And these are like 3rd and 8 or more, not just 3rd and 6 or more. So, again, it's you look at scheme, you look at personnel on the field. I think we saw Noah Williams do some really good things. He seems aggressive, and with McDuffie going down, somebody had to step up. But personnel, scheme, you matching against the opponents, it's kind of the same discussion we had last week. But you got to win those. And you say it didn't cost him the game because the defense rallied it. Chris Jones was amazing. Chris Jones was like, just jump on my back. I'm going to take everybody in this stadium and let's go. And he started with the first play of the 3rd quarter. He absolutely flipped the game by himself. And then everybody kind of jumped on, including the offense. But in the first half, you can say it didn't cost them the game, but what's that game in the first half if you don't give up those long third downs? And it might have been 0-0 at halftime or 3-0. And so every little thing mattered in a game like that, and it will matter in the Charger game. That's December football. So whether it's special teams or defense or offense, but if you get a chance to have 3rd and 6 or more, you got to get off the field, whether that's scheme, pressure, coverage, it's all of that. Because I was with Bob Fesco and with Dusty on Friday, we played Nick Bolton's comment about it's a combination of pressure and coverage, and that's a normal answer. It's not a nuclear physics answer. But then if you take it beyond that, are you a nickel or are you in dime? What's your nickel personnel look like? What's your dime personnel look like? And again, I think all that is being analyzed, but the time is at hand. You got to get it figured out this week because the Chargers won that game in Brazil because they were able to convert 3rd and very long.
There's been a lot of conversation about yesterday being the end of the dynasty. Did it give you that feel yesterday?
No, it doesn't. Now, you've got to be realistic about looking at the roster, but and then you got to be realistic looking at just you're down 4 offensive linemen. I mean, Pole yesterday, what he did was
I thought he played well.
Borderline miracle. Dude, he'd never played. And you're going against Danielle Hunter, and you have a 12.2 pressure rate allowed. And so, but I liked him way back, even in the summertime, knowing he hasn't hardly played much football. I don't even think he played in junior college at Chabot, and he played some at Washington State. Excuse me, this guy's just getting started. But all that it comes into play here. But there's not this feeling to me like it's crashing down and this is the end of it. It would be as if Coach retired or if Veach retired or moved on or whatever. Then you start to get that. But the infrastructure's still there. It's a strong, strong base.
That's kind of how I feel in this, and I understand, fans want this person held accountable or this person held accountable. I kind of get it.
And I get it, too. The fans, shoot, it was my best day of my life.
Like, I feel like, at least from a power structure, man, from what you've built up over the last 5-6 years, a majority of the staff and the foundation, as you just alluded to, they deserve an opportunity to fix this thing and get it right back on path. So you can't, to me, go from this team won 15 games, went to the Super Bowl, and now we need to completely change house. Now, there's going to be some changes, and we got time to talk about what those changes are, but I'm wholeheartedly on the side of Andy can come back and help fix this. Brett needs to come back, and the staff, and hey, it's a little bit off track, but I'm with you. The foundation is still there. You got a very good young pass rusher in George Karlaftis. You got the best quarterback in the league. You got the best coach in the league. This is a team that can still win double-digit games this year. They're not that far off, but just 1 or 2 plays, 1 or 2 players, a couple of misses in the draft, a miss in free agency, and in a razor-thin margin league like the National Football League, that can get you beat.
And you throw in the schedule, which is ridiculous this year. Not just the teams you're playing, but when you have to play. And those were being road games. They weren't last year. There weren't the Sunday night, Monday night road games. There was one Sunday night game on the road. It was early against Atlanta. This year it's just been loaded up. And then to play in the short weeks. That all sounds like an excuse. It's all factored in. But, again, this is when you got to try to rally. Who do you have healthy? That's the biggest you're calling up the roll now. This is the Alamo. Who do we have? And so that'll be the biggest thing Tuesday, Wednesday in the week, and then you just got to somehow rally it and get a resurgence to try to beat the Chargers and try to do this week by week.
Right now, we're joined in studio by the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holtus. Mitch, I'll get you out of here with this. Chiefs Kingdom is winding down. Where are you guys at today? Who do you guys have coming on?
Lenexa, we're not far away. We'll be at the Hy-Vee in Lenexa on 87th Street in the Belldozer. Blake Bell is going to be our guest tonight. I'm kind of fired up about it. Blake's a personality, and has done awesome things. But he's also like the bodyguard of Kelsey. So he's had a very interesting life, Belldozer, both on the field and off the field, and we'll jump into that tonight. But he also dealt with all kinds of adversity, injuries. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings with the Chiefs, and he had to do dirty work to do that. But we're going to dive into these same discussions. It's pertinent. And then we get into, with Coach, we get into all of the things we talked about, including the 4th down play and responsibility and how do you react moving forward. We get into all that tonight. We'll have a good, strong 15-minute segment with him.
That is Mitch Holtus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us on the show. His appearance is brought to you by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association Incorporated.